Pat McGrath has just launched a new mothership. It's called Petalmorphosis, and I think it looks very, very beautiful. My first reaction when I saw it was excitement, because it was like finally something that is not pink and gold. Finally a little bit of color from Pat McGrath. But the more I looked at it, the more dupable it seemed. You know, I would have fallen for this palette like in 2019, but not now, because now I have a hell lot of singles, and it's very, very likely that I have something that can dupe this, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to dupe the vibes. I already picked the shades that reminded me of this palette, and now I just have to filter them out. So let's just get into the process. First shade is gonna be Divine Dawn, described as a warm golden beige luminizer. For this one, I chose Fairy Lights from Glaminatrix. It's just a pretty sparkly white shade that has a gold reflect. I just love the way this one catches the light. Next, I chose Expect the Unexpected from Touch of Glam. I think this one mimics the luminizer shades because it's smoother rather than sparkly. However, I think this one looks a little too pink. So I'm going to choose Fairy Lights from Glaminatrix just because I think it fits the tone a little bit better. Next shade is called Nocturnal Bloom, described as a rich hunter green matte. For this one, I chose Organized AF by BH Cosmetics, and I think this one is going to be closer to Pat's version because I've seen it used a couple of times and I see that it's way more charcoal. My other option is Contour Cup from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to choose it over the other one because I think a teal works better with this color story. Next, it's Twilight Lilac, described as a soft lilac plum matte. For this one, I chose Unpredictable from Sydney Grace, because in my collection this one looks cool toned. However, for this palette, I think it's looking a bit warm. My other option is Silver Lining from Colourpop, and this one does look cooler toned compared to that one. It's a little soft, but here it says that it's a soft one. And my last option is going to be Sugar Plum from BH Cosmetics. This one is way punchier than the other two. However, seeing Pat's version makes me think that this shade is supposed to be lighter, so I'm going to go with Silver Lining from Colourpop because I think it's going to work better with the rest of the palette, and also the description makes me think that this one is supposed to be lighter. Next shade is Astral Iridescent Iris, described as an iridescent lavender astral. Showgirls from Glaminatrix came to mind for this one. Also Lunar Lavender from Terra Moons, although this one has a strong base, so I don't think it can replace an iridescent. Next, this is Ultraviolet from Terra Moons. It's a very pretty purple, however, next to these two, it's starting to look pink. Also, it's very shifty, and I don't think Pat's version shifts at all. Lastly, this is Mythical from Pretties for Your Face. This one has a soft lavender base with a lot of multicolored sparkles. It mimics an iridescent more than the others, so I'm going to place this one. Next, it's Cosmic Fantasies, described as a burgundy metallic. For this one, I chose Go For It from Sydney Grace. If we talk about metallics, Sydney Grace is just the best at them, and this is the closest shade that I have to a burgundy, even though it's a bit muted. So yeah, not many options for this one. Now it's Lunar Nectar, described as a coral rose matte with gold pearl. My first option is Pandora from Davina. It's a muted peach, and I refuse to look for one with the gold flecks because I don't even like those, so I'm going to skip them. Next, it's going to be Dreamy from Luxie. It's my other option. And this one has a more vivid tone, and I do like the peachiness in Dreamy more, so I think I'm going to pick it over Pandora. Next, it's Astral Eden Envy, described as a Chartreuse Astral with gold pearls. For this one, I have Artifact from Shout. It's a bit of an antique gold with a hint of chartreuse in there. My other option is Megabyte from Pat McGrath. This is from one of the holiday palettes. And I don't know, it's a little lackluster. Next, it's All Made from Glaminatrix. It has this beautiful chartreusey gold shift in it. However, it does have a red base. But I do like the tone in this one a lot better than the other two. And lastly, this is Handbook from Shroud. Just a little disclosure, I do have shades from Shroud, but I do not know if they are still working. I see that their site is still up, but I have yet to see someone that has ordered from them recently. But anyways, out of all of these, I like Old Maid more because of that shift. Moving on to Blitz Radiant Rhapsody, a metallic turquoise with blue and green pearls. This one was the hardest to find. One of the options is Hide Seas from Glaminatrix, but it's too smooth, I think. Next, it's Watermark from Beauty Glow, which is a very good option. This has always been one of my favorites from Jade Glow. However, for this shade, I think it's going to be a little too dark for it. Next, it's Artemis from Terramoons. I thought this one would be more teal, however, next to these two, it's looking very yellow, so I'm not going to pick it. And lastly, this is Strong from the Nesamarix. It's a metallic from one of the big palettes. I just repainted into a 26mm size just so I could include it in these custom palettes. Anyways, this one is looking way more like the description. It doesn't have much yellow, but it works better than the others, so I'm going to pick that one and place it. Next, it's gonna be Astral Sunset Splendor, a soft iridescent coral astral. I forgot to record, but this is centered from the Nesamarix at the top, and at the bottom it's Jingle Bells from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. You can see the texture on these two is metallic rather than iridescent, I would say. And my last option is Galactic Glow from Pat McGrath. This one is way smoother than the other two. And you know what? Moving them, I see that first shade has a lot more peachiness, more coralness than I thought, so I'm going to pick this one, which is centered from the Nesamarix. Okay, last shade is Blitz Bronze Supernova, described as a platinum bronze with silver pearl. My first option is Lion from Glaminatrix. Second, it's going to be Night Gal from Pretties for Your Face. This one is a very pretty tone, however, it has green and I don't see green being mentioned in the description, although I think this one would look very beautiful. And my last option is Hey Papi from Jade Glow. This one is giving me a little more platinum than the other two, so I think I'm going to choose it over the others. I think it's going to be very close to the color. Now let's swatch it all together, starting with Fairlight from Glaminatrix, Conor Cup from BH Cosmetics, Silver Lining from Colored Pop Cosmetics, Mythical from Pretties for Your Face, Go For It from Sydney Grace, Dreamy from Luxy Beauty, RIP, Old Maid from Glaminatrix, Strong by the Nesamarix, Centered also by the Nesamarix, and this one is quite flaky. And lastly, Hey Papi by Jade Glow, RIP as well. Okay, I did one last minute change. I decided to switch Dreamy with Pandora from Davina, and also I introduced a new shade called Lime from the Beauty Bay palette. What was it? Wilderness? I switched that one for Old Maid because, I don't know, the undertone was just throwing me off. But now I do like this better. This is a very classic color story for spring. Just the rosy tones mixed with the greens. The thing here is that pop of teal that is making it a bit different. I've seen people suggest that they copied What's Up Beauty's Dragon palette, And I do agree they look very similar. However, I would be surprised if the people working on this palette even knew that other palette existed, because there's only so many colors that exist, so the more time goes on, I think the more that there will be repetitive palettes. So what are your thoughts on this palette? Are you interested? Are you gonna wait for a sale, or are you not even a little bit interested? Me, I am interested in seeing reviews. I think I'm going to watch reviews and buy this palette on sale only if it gets glowing reviews. If not, then I'm not gonna bother, and honestly, I am thinking of picking up that dragon palette from What's Up Beauty because it looks so beautiful and it's way cheaper than this. I think it was like $42, while this one is $129, so it's just crazy to think about the pricing. And I know that Pat McGrath has way more product than What's Up Beauty, but I'm not the kind of person who is going to run through Pat McGrath palettes, so it's not convenient for me personally. So I think I will just have to admire this one from afar from now. And yeah, that'll be all for this video. Thank you for watching and have a lovely day.